Okay guys, so tonight's video homework is on editing and revising and my expectations for this next persuasive essay that we're turning in on Tuesday. So tonight's tutorial is all about learning what my expectations are and what I want you to do for the rough draft as well as for the actual typing of the essay and what to do afterwards, because just once you're finished typing doesn't mean that you're finished and you can print it out and turn it in. So again, remember, anytime that you see the pencil in the corner, it means I want you to take notes or write down what we're talking about. And then don't forget to do the digital portion on Sophia right below this video, and the quiz in the top right hand corner. Okay, so I did want to talk about the differences really quickly, again reminding you of editing versus revising. Now, we did do a similar video back when we did the career essay, so I'm not going to go over this too much, but you can definitely go back and reference those notes. So, difference between editing and revising. So editing makes you look for small mistakes like grammar and spelling errors or typos with your typed essay final. Remember that I am not your editor, so you need to try and find all of these small mistakes yourself. Don't make me do it, because that's not my job, and it takes too long for Mrs. Carter to circle every single error, small editing error that you have. You need to find those first before turning in a finished published piece. Now, revising is a little bit different. This looks for revising looks for bigger things. So sentence structure, organization. Revising really forces you to rewrite whole sentences or even paragraphs, moving paragraphs around. Maybe after you read the whole thing, you decide that argument 1 really should be argument 2, and so you want to switch those paragraphs around. That's what revising is. So editing is small, little mistakes that need to just be kind of tweaked within the rough draft. Revising is whole sentences and whole paragraphs. Okay, so you should still have your notes hopefully from the last video that we did on editing and revising, because in that video I actually asked you guys to write down a checklist for editing and a checklist for revising, all the things that you should look for when you're editing and all the things you should look for when you're revising. So go back to those notes and use that to help you with this essay. But if you don't have those notes anymore, I will include the video down at the bottom of this tutorial if you want to go back and take a look at it for exactly what I'm talking about as far as the checklists are concerned. Alright, so as far as the revision is concerned, I'm not going to necessarily spend more time on editing. You know how to look for major errors, and since we're typing this out in Word, you definitely should be using spelling and grammar checks throughout the process, and especially before you hit print. So let's talk about some ideas of what you can do as far as revising your essay before we get into the computer lab to start typing on Friday. So one idea would be to color code. So you can pick one of the following two options. I want to see this done in your rough draft. So definitely choose one of the following two options to show that you've taken some time to possibly revise your rough draft. So I like this one. I think sometimes I tend to be a very visual person. So color coding is a great way to really start kind of analyzing your sentence structure, and it's very simple. So you can either pick 4 to 3 colors. I would definitely use skinny markers as opposed to like a fatter marker or even a colored pencil. You can borrow some from me if you don't have some at home. You can come in after school today. Hopefully you're in after school, or you can come in to class on Thursday and use the markers in class on Thursday. That would work. So pick 4 to 3 colors, and the reason I say 4 to 3 is because I'm going to give you 2 different options for this color coding process. So if you pick 4 colors, I would use 4 colors to identify all 4 different types of sentences. Now, again, we did a video not too long ago where you made a reference book on the types of sentences. So you can reference that if you're going to do the color coding this way. So I would pick a color like red for the simple sentences, and then like, I don't know, orange for the compound sentences, maybe green for complex sentences, and blue for compound complex sentences. So you're going through sentence by sentence, and you're identifying and labeling what types of sentence structure each of your sentences are. Now, if that's too complicated for you, you don't remember the sentences, or you think that you aren't necessarily a good enough judge to identify all 4 colors, well, then you can do 3 colors. This is much more simple, but still kind of gets the point across. If you pick 3 colors, then look for small size sentences, medium to large. I think that's a little bit too elementary for you at this point. We've gone over it ad nauseum as far as the types of sentences. You should know what these look like, but again, it's a revising process. Either way, I think it's a good one to kind of get into the habit of doing every once in a while, just to make sure that you are in fact doing the best that you can to improve your sentence fluency score. So what I would do again is go sentence by sentence, and using the color pens, the markers, identify what different types of sentences are throughout your essay. At the end, you will be able to clearly see visually, you'll have a visual representation of what your sentence structure looks like. I mean, if you have a whole paragraph of red, is that okay? No. I mean, if you're choosing red for your simple sentences or your small size sentences, and you've got a whole paragraph of just reds, that's not okay. You've got to have a multitude of colors. In fact, you should really see a confetti of color within your essay. So a red next to a blue, and then a green, and then a red, and then a blue and a green and a yellow, or whatever colors you're choosing. It should be all over the place. That's what sentence variance means. A lot of you are either doing a ton of simple sentences or a ton of compound sentences, and never the two shall meet. I don't know why that is, but we need to work on that. And, over the last couple of written pieces that we've turned in, I consistently am telling you, those of you that are stuck in the B category and can't move to the a lot of it has to do with word choice and sentence structure. And this is one of those steps that you can do to help with your sentence structure. I think it's a good idea. Whether you do it or not, that's up to you. Okay, I'm babbling now. So here's your other choice. The other choice would be to do a paragraph analysis, which we've done this before. So I've got a page on the next slide that you can copy down on a piece of notebook paper and go through at least one body paragraph, sentence by sentence, doing the paragraph analysis. So here's what the page looks like. So take a piece of notebook paper. You're going to make some columns here. I've got 5 columns. You're going to do rows, as many rows as you have sentences. So this first column here, the number of sentences, what you're going to do is you're going to take your body paragraph, you're going to count the number of sentences, and you will go down those rows, sentence 1, sentence 2, sentence 3, sentence 4. So if you had 6 sentences, you'd number out 6 rows so that you can do the remainder columns looking at each of those sentences. So this column is basically just identifying the sentences in that body paragraph. Again, we've talked about this in class. If this is too confusing for you and you don't remember what we did, then we can definitely talk about that. Okay, so now you see I've got all 6 columns here, or rows, numbered in this first column. So then you would go and look at the number of words in the sentence. So this is specifically looking at your sentence fluency score and the types of sentences that you're using. So if you see that all of your sentences are roughly the same size, like they all have 8 words in them, then that should tell you that your sentences, you have no sentence variance. Each of these columns is telling you something, so it's not just filling out this graph and not analyzing the data. You've got to take a look at what you're actually doing in each of these sentences in this body paragraph. So that's what this column is doing. So the second one is asking for the first word of every sentence. So if every sentence of your body paragraph starts with the word the, you need to change it. That's what this column is telling you. So you should start seeing if you're repeating too much and not changing things around. This is why this is a revision tool, because you're actually looking at the sentence structure and changing full sentences, if not more. Okay, this next column is titled the persuasive word choice. So listing all the persuasive words that you're using in that sentence. So really trying to see what kind of word choice you're using. And then finally looking for the citation. Again, I'm really concerned about the citation piece. Last night's homework covered citation, in-text citation, as well as the works cited page. So this is just asking you to take a look. These are your body paragraphs after all, and at least one of these sentences has to be cited, because you're asked to include at least one fact to support your argument, and that fact should be cited. So That's what that's for. So at least one of your sentences should have a yes. The rest of them can have no's. That's up to you on how many facts and how many citations you needed. But that's what that column's for. Okay, moving on. So what do you do with the essay once you're done typing it? First of all, you need to go through and spell check and grammar check. It's not good enough to just type it and say, oh, I'm a good typer. I caught it as I went. No, definitely go through and do the spell check and the grammar check. Then call me over, please, because I would like to check and make sure that you do, in fact, have 3 in-text citations, bare minimum, throughout the body of your paper, and that you have a works cited page. I'm going to look to see that the works cited is on its own page, that it's alphabetized, you have the hanging indents. I can help you with that if you don't know how to do it, and looking for the correct punctuations and trying to help you with that as much as I can. Also, this isn't on there, but I should be looking for a title. Your works cited page should say works cited centered at the top. I told you this in last night's homework, but just want to remind you again. So before you hit the print button, please call me over and let me come and see how your paper is formatted and what it looks like, so that we're, following everything that needs to happen with an MLA cited paper. Whew, okay, we're done. That was a longer video. I haven't done one that long in a while. Sorry, I started to ramble at a few points in the video. Okay, so don't forget to do the digital portion of the WISC and then answer the quick quiz off to the side of this tutorial to prove that you've learned this concept and you are paying attention. The quiz again is in the top right hand corner here on Sophia, and don't forget to submit the digital portion. And I will see you in class tomorrow. Thanks, guys.